Here is Can't You Hear Me Calling in G shape. A little slower. Let me try a little bit slower too. It's playing slow sometimes is hard. Nope. Hi, this is these are one of three videos that I'll be doing on Can't You Hear Me Calling out of three different chord shapes, and hopefully if you learn these breaks, you know, you'll walk away with some tools and some licks, some phrases and things that you'll be able to use and apply on other songs. The first shape I did was in G. The next video I'll do was in the shape of D. The next one I'll do it in the shape of E. And the idea here is that is to be able to play in a, well, for one thing, out of these different shapes give you different voicing. But oftentimes, you know, I was in a jam the other day and someone sang this song in the key of E. I was like, wow, well, kudos to you, first of all, for picking a key that's within your range, because the key of G is actually a pretty high, a fairly high lead, and not a whole lot of singers can get there. So and I noticed, wow, this has got a lot of fruit here in E. It sounds pretty cool. And so hence I decided to do this little video series. So the first thing is, you'll notice there's a lot of cross picking in this song, because there's a lot of notes that just kind of hang in the melody. So you notice that the cross picking I'm doing is not a down down up or a down up up whatever. It's alternating. I'm alternating on every roll. So I'm doing a down, up, down. So I'm down, up, down. Now the hardest thing is when you're doing this is to jump over these two strings and then hit that third string up. So it's down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay. That's one thing. And then you'll notice the other thing that I'm doing here is when I go to the 4 chord. Sweetheart of mine, can't you hear me calling a million times? So that's the melody note. What I'm doing is here I'm playing the B note, which is the third of the 1 chord. And I'm playing, so when I'm in C, this G note is the 5 of the C chord, and I'm playing 2 of those. I'm playing the 3rd string open, and then octave above, and I'm actually kind of I'm playing a G chord, but the only note that I'm leaving out from the G chord is the 5 note, which is the D note, because you don't want to do that because the D note's really not part of the 4 chord. And why am I doing that? Well, if you listen back to the original recording in 1949 by Mac Wiseman and Bill sings the tenor. He hits a B note over a 4 chord, which is very interesting. If you look at, like, well, here's my C chord. Usually when the melody is like somewhere there, the tenor will go a third above and either go to the 1, and if there's a baritone, you're making this chord with your voices, or the tenor will go a whole step down and hit the flatted 7th. Okay, but what Bill does, he goes right in between those two, and he hits that B note. So what chord is this? That's a C major 7th chord, but it's often sometimes referred to as the spooky note. And so, and not a whole lot of people, when they sing tenor to that song, hit that B note, hit the 3rd of the 1 on the 4 chord. So that's what I'm doing in my break. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Dell, when in the Del McCurry band, I noticed when they play this song, Dell, in fact, in his tenor hits that B note, but they stay on the 1 chord. So he's just making a regular 1 chord, and I realized that Dell, of course, sang with Bill in his band in 1963, which is pretty far removed from 1949. So it makes me wonder if Bill actually kind of evolved the song a little bit, and maybe they could decide at one time just to stay on the 1 chord. Anywho, so that's what I'm doing there. So let's talk about this first part. The kickoff. Sorry. So what I'm doing there is I'm playing a G chord, and I'm open, and I'm gonna keep my 3rd finger on that G note, and then slide. Okay, I might have messed up a little bit, but then the cross picking pattern. Slide down, so it's a down when you slide on that 2nd string to the D note, and then the picking pattern is I go down again on the bottom string, and then I go up on the 3rd string. So that kind of follows the melody. Sweetheart of mine, can't you hear me calling? So this kind of is kind of a blues. And if you I've got a video series on the blues scale, but that's a flatted 3. I'm gonna quote resolve the 3rd, which means I'm just going to play not a flatted 3rd, but just a 3rd. And when I play this little piece, part of the song, notice I'm barring both those strings with just my 1st finger. I can hit, and then I'm gonna do this. So there I had to lay my 3rd finger down flat. Oops. Hammer again, flatted 3 to the 3rd, bang, and hit the 1. So the whole thing sounds a little bit like this. Okay, so that's that first part of the break, and then I'm gonna start here, and I'm gonna slide down with my 3rd finger to the G note, which is on the 8th fret down here on the 2nd string, and I'm gonna do the same roll pattern again, down and then down again, and then hit the 3rd string up. Same. Okay, so that whole, just let's play that whole thing up to that point. Now this little run I do after this comes again from the blues scale. There's another video I do on the sliding blues scale, but here it is. Here's the sliding blues scale. Oops. So this little double stop use quite a bit. And what I'm playing is the 5 and the F note, which is the flatted 7th of the 1 chord, and I'm walking down on that blues scale. And when I get to here, I'm going to hit the G string open so I can move my hand. Okay, and then I'm going to again flatted 3 to a 3rd. On that blues scale again. And then I'm going to hit an A note, open 5th. And then I can either pick this part of the run, or I can go all down. That's alternating. This is oops, hold on, let me try again. That's what downstrokes. Okay, so that's the whole break. Let's try it again a little bit at that pace, and let's get through it and see if I can get through it without making mistakes. I knew I couldn't do that. Yeah. So I'm gonna back up and correct myself. I'm gonna make a few mistakes on these videos, but I'm not gonna rewind and do all this over again just because I made a few mistakes. So I make mistakes, you make mistakes, we all do. But the run again, it looks like this. I hit one note that shouldn't have been there. That note. So it's not quite walking on the blues scale. I guess I could do that, but this is what I actually played on the front part of this video. So that's the same. I didn't change that. This part I changed. Sometimes as a player, you get certain patterns and things in your head, and you execute them without thinking about it. And when you execute them at speed, they just come out. You're not thinking. But when you slow them down, actually have to think about them. Then that's where that's where you can kind of go off track a little bit. So I apologize for that. So anyway, so that's in the key of G. Stay tuned for the next one in the chord shape of D.